So what is CORS? CORS is basically it's cross origin resource sharing. What does it implies? Uh, just imagine I have created two S3 bucket. S3 bucket number one, bucket number two, and I am hosting a website on S3 bucket one. Everything is in my bucket number one right now. Okay, but slowly or gradually there was some requirement that I'm not storing anything. I don't want to store everything in bucket number one. Example, the website what I am hosting, a web application that I am hosting on S3 number bucket number one contain video, audio, and text. Okay, that three major things. It okay, and that FAQ of that website has to be updated. Okay, and that control is not with you. There is some other team which has to update the FAQ. It's their responsibility to update the FAQ. Now the question comes: how frequently the company that team is going to update the FAQ? Let's say initially it was one time, so that given you the draft and you upload it into your website and you uploaded the file into your S3 bucket template. Okay, FAQ template is uploaded. But now as you move to production and your website is live, but FAQs is always going to update frequently. Okay, everybody knows. Okay, FAQ is gradually, slowly and gradually, the content of FAQ has to be updated. So how frequently the company, that team will give you the updated file? Initially it was per month, then it is per week, then every day they are updating the FAQ. So it is a hectic or it is a troublesome for you to move that file to your S3 bucket daily basis. Point number one is that it is a manual process to upload the S3 bucket. Second thing, if it's a production data or it's a production website, means in environment, basically it's a production environment, you need a couple of permission to release the new version, because it's a new version, right? Your code is changing or your files are changing. So there are few parameters or few steps every developer has to take before going to the production. Okay, so it is not wise to again and again upload the data to S3 bucket. Okay, so what can be done? You first way, give the access S3 access to that team so that they can upload the file directly to your S3 bucket. Again, there might be cases that they will delete the file. They can corrupt the couple of files in your S3 bucket. So you won't be giving the current S3 access to that team. Okay, so what you can do, you can create a new S3 bucket. So let's say name is S3 number 2. Okay, or that bucket can be in your account or in their S3 their account. Okay, so altogether this is the new S3 bucket. It can be either in your environment or in your AWS account or in their account. Okay, now the next step, you need to access that file and they will upload the FAQ file into their this new S3 bucket. So whenever the content is live, whenever the content that they uploaded the new content, it should be replicated to your website. Okay, so now it's their headache, their responsibility to push that file to the S3 bucket. Okay, but uh, your website is hosted in your bucket, so generally the content of individual buckets are not shared. We talked about that every object or S3 bucket is private and the object inside that are private. Secondly, when you make them public, still the content of second bucket or another bucket is not, you won't able to access directly. Okay, to enable that, there is this concept called cross origin resource sharing. So from one bucket to another you can share the content directly. Are you clear what is CORS. So CORS is used to enable the cross origin access of your AWS resources. Example, S3 hosted website access JavaScript or image files located in another S3 bucket. I give you example. So it can be JavaScript, it can be image, it can be text file, it can be video, anything. So basically, some I have given you example. Some other team has to update the file. So now their responsibility when they are going to push that file. So the bottleneck won't be on you, and if they upload the file from in their S3 bucket, it should be immediately reflect in your website. Okay, so what we have done, we just enable the share access and it will be hosted. By default, resource in one bucket cannot access resource located in another. I told you one bucket data won't be able to access second bucket data. To allow, we need to allow this, we need to configure CORS on our bucket being access and enable access of being original obtained to access. So what it does mean, if we want to configure, we have to configure destiny bucket, means bucket number 2, and we have to enable the CORS in their bucket number 2, allowing bucket number 1. Okay, so basically which bucket has to be access, bucket number 1 need access to access file in bucket number 2. So bucket number 2, there will go in property of bucket number 2, change the chorus setting and paste the or allow bucket number 1 to access the files in bucket number 2. Okay, does it make sense? And always use s wow S3 website URL, not S4, sorry, not the regular bucket URL. So there are two URLs. Okay, so this is our website URL. Okay, and exam tip, again, encryption, we have a couple of encryption we talked about. If you want to enforce the use of encryption for your files stored in S3, use an S3 bucket policy to deny all put requests that doesn't include server-side encryption enable parameter in the request header. We talk about, we will do the practical on that. If a bucket, if a file is uploading in S3, so it is called put request. Keep in mind, what if you are uploading a file into S3 bucket, it's a put request. If you are downloading a file from S3 bucket, it's a get request. So if you're uploading a file, you're doing a put request, and if it's not server side encryption or encryption is not enabled on that, you can enable by, or you can deny that file by S3 bucket policy. Okay, so let's go with this demo.